Educating is an act of love and must always place the person at the very center. We know that education has this transforming power. Education opens the mind. Education opens the heart to reality. In this educating a new humanism, relationships must be different, much more meaningful, much deeper, much more inclusive. And education must be humanized. It is true that universal solidarity will only be possible if we create a new culture. According to the Pope, education is the antidote to the individualistic culture. We need to make fundamental decisions that involve the whole of humanity. We need to recreate the fabric of our relationships in order to be able to speak a language of fraternity. If this universal solidarity allows us to generate an impulsive culture, it will already be a new humanism and a universal solidarity. Education is the seed of hope. To educate is to risk, to look at the present, to provide the present with the hope that shatters determinisms and fatalisms. And to maintain that hope, we must remain creative and implement transformative processes in alliance with the civil society. If we really want that seed to grow, we need to nurture it. How are we going to make the Pope's message a reality? We are going to start working collaboratively. We are going to generate a series of platforms where we can all get involved and see how groups are generated. How do we reach this context? I think about where I have schools and there are parishes and there are a series of realities of how can I ensure that there are actions of this educational pact. We will create networks, working networks. Who is the convener? Well, if we look at the world, this VUCA world, as some say, a world that is volatile, uncertain, complex, ambiguous. Alliances, and I say this from my heart, are the only guarantee that we will not remain just in words and not know just how to move to actions. Today the important thing is not that your school functions. Today the important thing is not that your school is clean in a city. What is important is how that school makes an impact. The educational quality of that school can have an impact on other schools, whether they are public or private, whatever type of a school they are, how it also impacts on the education of NGOs or informal education. I mean that social impact and social innovation have to be developed, and it has to come through what we want to teach or do. When the Pope was speaking, I was thinking a lot about educating cities, and I think that is where alliances are established with everyone and for everyone. And of course, all this is very slow. Very slow. We encounter a great many difficulties, politics, and one of the strongest ones is perhaps the one of the different conception of the human person. And of course, we have to deal with this as well. This makes dialogue difficult, but we have to achieve it. We have to achieve it for a common good. And it seems important for the institutions to consider what their dream is. And then, what can we do? What are our competences? What are our capacities, I would say, to be able to develop this? What can I do? One has to be very creative. One has to be able to not give up at the first attempt. And there are those who say that in order to generate alliances, they need strategies. I don't deny it. Maybe you do. But what you need is a good heart, and above all, the capacity of that goodwill to serve the other and to be humble, to be able to move things forward for the common good.